Greetings, loyal subscribers and honoured guests. It's now a bit later on in the same week that I recorded parts 1 and 2, and I'm considerably hairier. I need to have a shave soon, but I am still on holiday for one more week, so it's a good time to get some videos made, really. But anyway, this third and final part for my May pickups will be looking at some Nintendo consoles and some Xbox One / Series X games. So let's get on with the first one. This one is a bit unusual for me because it's a Japanese 3DS game, and it's the only Japanese 3DS game in my collection, and it is Theaterism Dragon Quest. And let's just start the trailer for that, and I'll get into why. So, I really loved the Theaterism games. I'll just get into frame a bit more. I really loved the Theaterism games on the 3DS, which were Final Fantasy and then Final Fantasy Curtain Call. So they did after the success of those, they did a Dragon Quest version, but because Dragon Quest isn't nearly as popular in the West as it is in Japan, it never made its way here. But as I've now got a modded 3DS, there's no region lock, so I can just enjoy games from other territories, such as this one. I might end up getting more later on. Some American games maybe are more likely than more Japanese ones. It's just that because I've played the other Theaterism games, I know how to play this one. It's fairly intuitive, really. You poke the screen on those red dots, you draw on the screen in the direction of the yellow dots, and you hold down on the green dots. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward to play, even with the menus and stuff being in Japanese. I think there is a story mode which does have a fair bit of Japanese text, but you can always use Google Translate image mode and point your camera at the 3DS and it will translate roughly. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing. So yeah, that's that one. Game number 2 is the first of a series of 3 Switch games that I've got to show you. This is Monster Harvest, and I haven't actually found the time to start this one yet, but let's have a look at the trailer. Monster Harvest is a farming game with very similar graphics to something like Stardew Valley, except as well as the sort of normal crops that you can grow, you're also raising monsters and getting produce off them. I don't know if you're actually slaughtering them for meat. That would seem a bit grim, but that could be what goes on. So it's like a melding of Pokemon and Stardew Valley, and it's when it came out, it was plagued with problems. Like it was full of bugs and performance issues, but it's been patched now, and it's much better than it was. And I've heard it's a very addictive game, and I did spend hours playing Stardew Valley when that was new. Must go back to that one day. But anyway, I do like my farming games quite a bit. So I do actually look forward to playing this one, but I wanted to be able to devote a decent amount of time to it, so that's why I haven't started it yet. Next on the Switch pile is another game I haven't started yet for similar reasons. I want to make sure I've got the time to fully devote to it, and that is Shin Megami Tensei 5. As you would have already guessed, this is the latest in the Shin Megami Tensei series, which also includes the Persona spin-off series. But this is, I think Persona is more successful and popular than the parent series these days, especially over here, but maybe not so much in Japan. But they are sort of very traditional turn-based JRPGs with quite a high difficulty level, and they usually start off in a high school or about teenagers at any rate, and there's usually some kind of event that means demons are set loose in the world, or you end up in a demon dimension. Looks like Tokyo's ruined again. I think that's happened a few times in the series from what I remember. Yeah, you end up sort of becoming part demon, I think, and in the gameplay there's another sort of Pokemon-esque element to it, because you can talk to the monsters and barter with them and get them to join your party. I think in the Persona games that's the case anyway, but yeah, it looks like you do have a monster following you about, but I think you have a bunch of characters in your party, but there's also monsters as well, I think. But yeah, like I say, I haven't started this one up yet. I am looking forward to it though, and I wanted to make sure I added this one to my collection before it got hard to find, because even with the Shin Megami games, they can get a bit hard to track down eventually. It's often the way with Atlas released RPGs, so I didn't want it to get ridiculously expensive before I decided I wanted to play it. So when I am ready for it, I've got it now. So that's that. I don't think we need to watch all of this. So let's go back to Big Dave. And the final Switch game I've got is called Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. Now, I actually picked this one up before Theaterism Dragon Quest, and that's kind of what spurred me on to actually buy Theaterism Dragon Quest, because this is by the same developer as the Theaterism games, and for all intents and purposes, it is a new Theaterism game really, because the gameplay is quite similar. It's just themed around Kingdom Hearts rather than Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest. And the graphics are quite nice, and the music is all the music from the Kingdom Hearts games, which is say what you like about the ridiculous story and the crappy camera and stuff like that, and how it's all nonsense, but one thing the Kingdom Hearts games do always get right is the music from Yoko Shimomura. So this game makes a whole lot of sense. It is a rhythm game. I haven't played more than the starter difficulty so far, because I'm still getting used to it, but I imagine the difficulty ramps up quite high in the more advanced difficulty levels. I don't know if they've done any DLC for it. That was something they did for the other games. I'd imagine there is a bit of DLC. I'm not sure. But anyway, that was part of the Easter sale again, so that was reasonably cheap. I think it was £12. So it's come down in price quite quickly. And now we move on to the Xbox pile. Let me just tidy this up a bit so I've got room to put them down. The next one is The Outer Worlds. And while I have been able to play this on Game Pass for, well, since it came out, I decided I wanted to have a physical copy of it, because it's one of those games that's so good that I do want to own it physically, and I had the DLC, so it made sense to have the game as well for real, to actually own it. So let's have a look at the trailer. Now, this is a game I was immensely excited about before it came out, because it was a kind of return to the gameplay of something like Fallout New Vegas, because it's the same developer, but in a very sort of 50s or 60s styled science fiction world. I think the trailer stopped playing there for a second. Don't know what happened there. It locked up for a bit, but it's going now. And then I did play a bit of this when it came out on Game Pass, but I think because I hadn't actually bought it and spent any money on it, I didn't feel kind of pressured to actually play it, so that's part of the reason why I've just bought it. But it's so cheap now. It was £8 that I don't mind picking it up, and it was all part of that 200 quid I got for trading in that other system. So yeah, I am playing it right now actually, which is a bit of a spoiler because it'll give away a future Xbox Zone review of mine. But yeah, I've been working on playing through this on my weeks off. So I don't know if I'll get done by the time my holiday finishes, because I got a bit distracted this week with modding my Wii U and then playing around with all that entails. But I'll try and get back to this possibly today and put in a bit more time into it. I've already got further than I did when the game came out, which was basically just off the first planet and onto the big ship called the something breaker. I don't know, can't remember now. Yeah. So, yeah. Although it's nowhere near as long as a Fallout game, I don't think that's a bad thing really. It feels more sort of streamlined and honed in its storyline, which is quite welcoming sometimes. So yeah, look out for the video on that soon. Now we have another one from my Easter binge, which is a game called No Straight Roads, and I really didn't know much about this at all before picking it up, but I have spent a few hours playing it and I quite like it so far, so let's have a look at it. Yes, so this is another sort of game with rhythm elements in it, but it's also got sort of more traditional platforming and just hack and slash combat. So yeah, it's you run around in 3D and do battle with these different monsters, different characters. The boss battles are quite good actually, because they do involve the rhythmic element quite a bit. Yeah, it's an interesting indie game that I look forward to playing more of at some point. I have tried it for a while, and yeah, as you can see, the graphics are really quite vibrant, and it's got a very unique sort of character style to it. You can play it co-op, yeah, I forgot about that, but haven't tried it. Yeah, very big screen filling bosses. So yeah, let's move on to the next thing. Another cheap one, Locke's Quest. This came out on the original DS, I think, in the first place, and this is sort of a remaster of it. So let's have a look. So Locke's Quest is a tower defense game essentially, but you do control your character directly when the monsters are attacking, and you can bash the monsters yourself with your sword, or run around and repair the turrets and stuff, which you do need to do, or your turrets will just get overwhelmed and you'll lose. I have never really played all that many tower defense games. The only thing that comes close that I did spend a lot of time playing was a game called The Horde on the PC, which was sort of probably the earliest example of a horde mode, I think, or a tower defense mode in a game that I ever remember seeing. So that might have spawned the entire genre really, as far as I know. But yeah, Locke's Quest is quite difficult. I think it might be poorly balanced in later stages, so I struggled to get very far after a few stages, but as I say, I'm not used to this genre anyway. So the last game is related to something I showed in one of the other parts, and this is Deus Ex Mankind Divided Day 1 edition. So yeah, this is the sequel to Human Revolution. Yeah, and I think this really fixed most of the problems that people had with Human Revolution. But when I did play Human Revolution for the first time, it did leave a bad taste in my mouth, so I never was especially interested in playing this one until now, when it's only a few pounds to pick up. So I've got this one, and I've got the director's cut of the first one, so I shall give both a try and see how I get on with it. And there are talks now that Embracer Group has bought up the rights of all of the IDOS stuff, that they might bring back Deus Ex, but I don't know whether they'll bring back the Adam Jensen version or they'll do something new with it. Only time will tell, and that's probably still years away anyway. But yeah, I do quite like him as a character. It's just those boss fights were a struggle in the original versions. So that's it, really. That's everything for May now. Oh yeah, I forgot all the silly additions that that this game came out with. But so that's it. Let me just switch back to the big camera and sign off. So yeah, that's almost an hour of footage spread across the 3 parts, so that's plenty for everyone, really, I think. But so there'll be one more Sunday where there isn't any pickups video, and then it'll already be time for the June pickups soon. By the time you see this, that promises to be a lighter month, but with sort of bigger games in it, so fewer things, but newer ones, I think. I think, isn't Pocky and Rocky Reshrined supposed to be coming out in June finally? So I think I've pre-ordered that, so that should turn up. But anyway, that's it for now. I'll stop here. Thank you for watching once again. Stay tuned to the channel for regular videos. These ones on Sundays, usually the first Sunday of each month, and then other stuff every Wednesday. So yeah, I'll see you for the next video. In the meantime, take care.